All right, let's bring on Knowles. Knowles, are you there? Oh my God! I cannot believe. Hey, Knowles, Michael, it's good to see you. I'm a New Yorker. You're a New Yorker. I'm glad you're here. And don't mess with me, all right? Because I'll slap you upside the head.
You got to see what I did to Ben to get this studio seat right now. We're broadcasting live from the Ben Shapiro Show studio.
We'll find him in like a bucket of lime. So I feel like I just saw you 10 minutes ago. We had dinner last night with the absolutely beautiful and charming and intelligent Ann Coulter.
My heart palpitations have finally quieted down enough so that oh my gosh, beating out of my chest.
I know, she is so nice. You know, the funny thing about Ann is like she's like one of the nicest. She's just a charming, lovely person.
That's
right.
When
you tell people that, they say, "Oh, well, then the whole thing on TV must be an act." And I think, like, what is she? She's not mean on TV. She's just a conservative.
She's a conservative. She is extremely charming, and she's extremely entertaining.
Yeah,
that was my experience, having dinner with her and having met her before.
Well, she says she might come on the show, so hopefully she'll come on later this week while she's in L.A. So I asked you to look at Jay-Z, and before you say, I'm gonna stand back and let you talk in just a minute. I just want to say this one thing. I know nothing about Jay-Z. I mean, everything I know about Jay-Z, I learned from Miley Cyrus, that song she has where she says a Jay-Z song. So that's the only thing I know about Jay-Z. And the reason I don't know anything about Jay-Z, I mean, I think in most of the arts, my critical facility is still pretty cutting edge. I mean, I love new things. I've participated in a lot of new things. I've participated in a lot of new technology. I hate this music. And you know, I was thinking about this over the weekend for another reason. If you had lived from ancient Greece if you had lived in the centers of Western civilization from ancient Greece to, say, 1900 England, Europe, you would never have heard music so loud that you couldn't hold a conversation, or music that was, drowned you out, or music that made you bounce around like you were some kind of like primitive. And the fact that we listen to this music, that we have devolved to listening to music that just does not contribute to the beauty of life, does not contribute to the serenity of the soul, does not add anything to our depth of information, I think is just a sign of decadence. I think this stuff, rock is bad enough, and I know that I sound like an old curmudgeon, but on this one thing, I really do not think the arts have advanced. But rap to me is just trash. And having said that, you can now say anything you want about Jay-Z if you like him, go ahead. But he brought out this new album, which is making a big splash.
First, I'll say I am Wonder Mike, and I've come to say hello to the black and the brown, the white and the purple and yellow. This is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. I agree with you. I think the Ann Coulter dinner was my gift for getting through listening to this stupid album. I don't like rap as a genre. I agree with you. I just don't think it's a good genre. I know that's a sweeping statement, but I don't think it contributes very much to the world or to my sense of aesthetics or beauty or truth or anything like that. That all said, in its first week out, this album has made insane strides. A lot of people are saying it's going to be the album of the year. Puff Diggity Doodad or whoever says that it's the best album Jay-Z ever made. And
what's the name of the album?
The album is called 444.
Okay.
I looked up, I said, I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z says that he got the name because he woke up in the middle of the night at 4:44 and started writing a song. Apparently that's as deep as it goes. What's interesting, because Jay-Z, the musician, is far less impressive than Jay-Z, the businessman. This guy, I mean, he's a billionaire. He and Beyonce together are worth $1.1 to $1.2 billion. He explicitly released this album only on his own streaming music service.
Wow.
So it was a big risk because it couldn't be considered for the chart rankings. It couldn't be considered by Nielsen. But even in its second week, it had so much momentum behind it just from his own service that it rose to #1 in the charts. So a really impressive business acumen. The album is deeply confessional. It's supposed to be a response to Beyonce's Lemonade album that came out last year, which talked about his infidelities. It alluded to them. Do we have a clip? There's a little promo that he's been putting out of the album. Do we have that?
No, this is everybody wants to be needed on some level.
I feel like women often feel like you're a man, and it's just like, okay, so does that mean we don't have emotions?
You know, people see your family, they see Instagram pictures of you smiling and happy and stuff all the time. They don't think you got real issues. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to sleep back to back, like climbing in the bed and you like look over there and you got that back roll though. That's the worst feeling in the world.
What I thought was when I met my dad was, oh, I'm free to love now.
This is the softer side of Jay-Z. I mean, this is not the guy who rapped on the Black album, I got the hottest chick in the game wearing my chain, you know, kind of. It is a more probing piece, but it's an album of contradictions. On the one hand, Jay-Z explicitly kills his ego in a song. He's fighting his ego. Huh. He's fighting for his humility.
The end of his career, probably.
The end of his career, yeah, his family. But on the other hand, the whole album is navel-gazing. It's all about his romantic problems about which I'm supposed to care for some reason.
I mean, he's cheating on Beyonce, isn't that basically?
He confesses to it in the album, pretty explicitly. But then on the other hand, so many of the innovative songs in this album, or at least the innovative lyrics, are about taking personal responsibility, financial responsibility, familial responsibility. Then on the other hand, he airs racial grievance that ultimately excuses any sort of personal responsibility. In particular in a song about the real story of O.J. Simpson, which is a timely release.
Yeah.
You know, the New York Times, a former newspaper, actually sort of got this right. They said, viewed from different angles, 444 is a long-simmering, eyes downcast confession, a relaxing of muscles that have been tense for decades. A marketing ploy intended to bolster two second-tier businesses, the streaming service Tidal and the phone company Sprint. Both of those are present. He's getting plaudits from Monica Lewinsky for coming clean about his infidelities. He's getting plaudits from everybody. He said, quote, "This is my real life. I just ran into this place and we built this big, beautiful mansion of a relationship that wasn't totally built on the 100% truth. Okay, tear this down. Let's start from the beginning. It's the hardest thing I've ever done." More power to him. Obviously, as a Knowles myself, I always like when the in-laws are good to our family
Mommy
members.
and Daddy are fighting, right? Yeah.
But listen to some of these lyrics. I think they'll explain the nice attempts of the album and why this art form is just dreadful. You know, in the realm of ego, the first song opens up, it says, "Kill Jay-Z, they'll never love you, you'll never be enough. Let's just keep it real, Jay-Z. F Jay-Z. I mean, you shot your own brother. How can we know if we can trust Jay-Z? And you know better, N-word. I know you do, but you gotta do better, boy. You owe it to Blue, his daughter. You had no father, you had the armor, but you got a daughter. Gotta get softer. Die, Jay-Z. This ain't back in the days. Cry, Jay-Z. We know the pain is real, but you can't heal what you never reveal." A vulnerable lyric.
Right.
Not a good lyric, not Keats, not Wordsworth, but vulnerable, and in that way, I suppose, admirable. On financial responsibility, there's a great song in the album called Legacy, and it opens up with a little girl asking, "Daddy, what's a will?" And he responds, he says, "Take those monies and spread cross families. My sisters, Hattie and Lou, the nephews, cousins, and TT, Eric, the rest for B, whatever she wants to do, she might start an institute. Generational wealth, that's the key. My parents ain't have S, so that shift started with me. My mom took her money, she bought me bonds. That was the sweetest thing of all time." It's a really good message.
So there's a little capitalism in there. Did that get a react? I mean, did that?
It did. Some people called it a conservative album. Clearly, compared to his other material, it is. It's giving an important message about responsibility and wealth and finance. But then here comes the chorus of that same song. "Legacy, legacy, legacy, black excellence, you gonna let him see. Legacy, 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 black excellency, baby, let him see." Later on, he from the song Family Feud, he says, "Y'all still drinking Perrier Jouet, ha, but we ain't get through to you yet, What's better than one billionaire, too, especially if they're from the same hue as you? Y'all stop me when I stop telling the truth." There's a black solidarity and a racial grievance that permeates a lot of the album. From the story of O.J., one of the bigger songs, it's has a video on YouTube. We can't play it because it'll get our own content taken down.
Okay.
Because they've been very strong on copyright. He says, "You want to know what's more important than throwing away money at a strip club? Credit." Good point. You ever wonder why Jewish people own all the property in America? This is how they did it. Financial freedom is my only hope. F living rich and dying broke. I can't wait to give this S to my children. Y'all think it's bougie. I'm like, it's fine. All a great message.
Bougie meaning bourgeois.
Bourgeois.
Yeah.
We're coming from bourgeois. But then we get to the chorus. Light N-word, dark N-word, faux N-word, real N-word, rich N-word, poor N-word, house N-word, field N-word, still N-word, still N-word.
Huh.
Jay-Z may be many things.
Yeah.
A mediocre lyricist, an impressive businessman. But he is no N-word.
No, I mean, if that is N-word, like, sign me up. He's
sign
like,
me
a
up.
billionaire.
That's
Yeah,
right.
like,
He's a billionaire. He's exceeded beyond anyone, even in his own industry. But certainly he's made over $1 billion of wealth, and he's one of the most prominent artists of our time, which says quite a lot about art and our time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for doing that. So I didn't have to. When does your show start? You pushed it a week, right?
We had to push it a week because I'm still recovering from listening to Jay-Z. So thank you for that. But we'll be beginning very soon.
Very soon.
Sooner even than you think.
Okay.
And I would like to say I would like to thank Jay, just from my heart for apologizing to Cousin Bay. You're a big man for doing it. Hopefully the music's a little better next time.
It's nice to know the Knowleses stick together.
We stick together. That's right.
Thanks a lot. I'll see you later. All right. Well, I couldn't contribute to that because I just cannot listen to that music. I will.